Yes, welcome back to Electronic Identity Crisis. Some things, some good things take time, like having to wait for this amazing weather and waiting for the rain to end. Or like we had to wait forever to appear on this show. And I'm so happy you're finally here. Welcome, Ever.
Thanks for having me.
So you just told me when the mics were off that it's your first time in Groningen.
Yes.
So
yes.
very exciting. And I'm really happy to have you over at the show today. I just wanted to have a little chat about music and what's been keeping you busy and stuff. And then, later on we'll listen to some tracks and you're going to play a DJ set at the end as well. Have you seen much of the city or was it just like running from the station?
It was running.
Okay.
Like I sprinted for the bus.
Well, you made it right on time though.
On
so
the
it
dot.
Was a good sprint, I guess. Good to have you here. So you are currently based in Amsterdam, right?
Yeah, for just 6 months.
And what brought you to Amsterdam?
I'm doing my studies right now in Eindhoven at Design Academy. And for this part of my studies, we need to do an internship. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get out of Eindhoven. I'll be in Amsterdam, meet some people, play some gigs. And yeah, I'm interning at Radio. Shout out.
Cool. How does it tie together, like Design Academy and interning at a radio station?
To be honest, it was a bit of a stretch, but I made it work. And also because at Design Academy, there's a student-run radio station that started a few years before my time. And it's more talk-based, but there's also music. And I've been closely involved in that. So I think this was a nice kind of gateway to a larger radio station and getting to know how it works.
Cool. So is that also how you got into DJing and stuff, like through the student radio station at the university?
No, I started in Taiwan, in Taipei. So during COVID, I was in Taiwan, where I'm from, and I was not born, but partially raised in. And actually a coworker of mine at a design studio is in this kind of like hard tech scene underground in Taiwan. And I asked him to teach me, and he also invited me to some of his raves. Shout out, Now You Fuck Up is his DJ name. So that's how I got into DJing, is like starting from like 180, 200 BPM.
Wow. That's very fast.
It's fast.
And here I was thinking that, the hard techno scene here was like really fast and hard, but it can even go harder apparently.
It's kind of mad.
Yeah. So is it like you said it was kind of underground, but are a lot of people like into that kind of really hard stuff there, or?
I think it's still relatively underground, but they've gained like quite a good following. And yeah, there are some clubs in Taipei that are quote unquote underground, but now like made it bigger. And I have to say it's a bit pretentious. These few clubs that are in Taipei, the very few, and then but I quite like the kind of goth hard tech Taiwanese people scene. If you want to find them on Instagram, it's Rave Feng Taiwan. So it's Rave Fun Taiwan.
Cool. I think you say like you like the goth hard tech kind of stuff. It makes sense with your like aesthetic.
I have to say it's like not what I play,
Yeah.
but I was like I really enjoyed while I've been at their raves.
Cool. Yeah. And how do you like living in the Netherlands compared to Taiwan? It's quite different, I imagine.
Yeah. I was just talking about cultural shock the other day with my partner. But prior to the Netherlands, I'd only lived in North America and in Taiwan. And I think in many ways it was very different. That I'd never been to Europe before, and like Eindhoven being the first city I'm in.
Yeah. But I feel like Eindhoven is I feel like it's quite a good like landing ground maybe before you went to Amsterdam, like to first get to know the Netherlands through Eindhoven, where it's maybe a bit more quiet and less busy and like how do you feel about that?
Why do you say like a good landing ground?
I always feel like here in Groningen, for example, Groningen is quite a small city. And I actually moved from like a bigger city to here. But I always feel like Groningen is such like a cozy community type feel. Whereas in bigger cities, it might be a bit more individual.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I have to say the like design academy community in Eindhoven was very comfortable to be put in, and right away you have like this is the small kind of world that you live in, and you can you kind of know everybody, and it is comfortable. But I have to say I got comfortable with it quite quick, and it becomes a bit constricting.
I see. So then how do you deal with going beyond that community without having the feeling of being constricted? Like, how do you find that balance, you think?
I think because I've moved around so much growing up, I'm kind of used to like bouncing to the next place. And I do get a bit uncomfortable after being in one place for a while and feel a bit stuck. But I think there is a lot of value in like staying in one place and and investing time and energy to the same community, the same people over a longer period of time, and not just be like, okay, next place.
Yeah.
And there's even within a small community, like there are lots of connections that can be made. So even when you think like, I know everything, like there are new people to be met and new kind of communities to be built. Yeah, even maybe for a shorter period of time, it can still be quite valuable to build relations with people. But yeah, as someone who like moves around a lot and like maybe builds community, but then tries to make room for new ones when you go to another place, like what is then the most valuable thing to you, like within finding that community, if you're gonna leave sooner or later again, if you know what I mean? Yeah, I actually think I'm really sick of moving, and I'm looking for a kind of like not permanency, but like continuity. That I after graduating, I want to move to Amsterdam. I want to stay kind of in the area, so I'm not starting new. I think things can only be built over time. Sorry, I'm so sweaty.
It's okay. I am too. It's very hot in here. But yeah, I think that's a really nice way to put it. Like, also, if I think about the people that I've sort of not really left behind, but the people that I knew from like previous stages of my life, like from high school or even before that, like I haven't forgotten about them. Like I still remember the good times we had and the things we learned from each other. But the people that I see on a more regular basis, like that's like those are the people that I feel like are really my like community, my chosen family. So yeah, I think it's nice to say that things take time to build. But of course nothing is lost. Like even if you move to a different place or do something different with your life, right? So I also wanted to ask you a bit about like the stuff that you do with your studies and like you told me that you recently went to Prague for an art residency, right?
Yeah, I think I'm a bit of a hobby hopper. I start new things easily.
It sounds very ADHD.
And this struggle following through. Yeah, DJing surprisingly I've stuck with for 4 years now almost. But yeah, in school, our school is very like free. The design programs are not very conventional programs. Like this is graphic design, this is industrial design. But you can pick a studio. Kind of, it's very dependent on who are the tutors, who's leading this studio. And you can even switch studios in between. And so I end up doing a lot of things. And I would say my practice within art and design is like not bound to medium, but more ideas and values, methodology. Yeah. So sometimes things that lean towards me, my identity, and I try to expand it as well to be on myself. Yeah, kind of vague, but
Yeah, can you maybe give an example of
okay, well, I did this project about the voice. I made a metaphor using the technologies and vocabulary of sound waves and radio waves being projected, the way their trajectory is influenced by disturbances and the way its reception is then decoded. It makes the message something that is passes through many layers of technology before it reaches the receiver. So I used kind of this like the physics and language of radio waves to describe my feeling of being perceived, essentially. So I, in the end, read like it was a experimental performance where I read a very personal text, but in the end, it doesn't just apply to myself. I found that the most effective and honest way to present it in the end as something quite personal. But I would hope that this analogy can, prompt this questioning beyond just like, oh, this is Ever and this is about Ever's voice.
Yeah. Wow, that sounds very interesting. And it must have been quite like a vulnerable experience having to read those texts. And, how was it were there a lot of people watching and how does that feel?
It was just the people in my studio.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out Techno Geographies and my tutors. But it is something I want to kind of transform, do a little bit differently and continue, maybe develop a body of work from it, as suggested by my tutors, but also motivated by myself, and hopefully to reach, more than just within the classroom.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I think it sounds super cool. So I would love to also see it like live action. But I think it sounds, like it's quite difficult to give that part of you to other people and to perform like that. Because I feel like if we like go back to DJing, like, yes, it's also sharing something of yourself, but it's not as personal maybe. Like, of course, music is very personal, but the people that listen to your DJ sets are always like perceiving your music through a lens of like, oh, this is like a place to dance and a place to be happy. And so I feel like sharing yourself in that way is way less vulnerable than like, yeah, like a performance like that.
Yeah, I think that's something I'm still navigating, like how things are related to me as an individual, and also, but beyond the individual, what kind of impact I want to have on a more community level and less individualistic. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like in DJing you also like can express like concepts and ideas that go beyond like just boom boom music, and how do you do that?
Yeah, I think like DJing, I mean, without a crowd, without a space, the DJ is nothing.
Yeah.
So it takes like many elements for like a club experience to be such, and as well as like the community that once a club night goes like multiple times in a city, it starts to build a community, and the people start to meet each other. You start to see familiar faces, and like that to me is super valuable. So beyond just like self-expression through music or selection of music, like I think there's a big potential in DJing and the practices that surround it to bring people together. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And radio too, like what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think radio is like, it's always a bit hard to explain to people that are not familiar with online radio, because most people just know the traditional FM radio where it's just two people in a studio. But yeah, it's so nice to have like a group of volunteers that puts their time and their energy into making something nice for each other. And yeah, it's also a nice place for people to get started into like DJing or radio making or whatever it is they want to help out with. So I'm also so happy that it's so widespread in the Netherlands. Like every major city has an
there's
online
so many radio stations.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, really. Like it's how I started DJing as well. Like at first at home, but then someone invited me for
to a radio station.
Yeah. And that's how I got involved here. So yeah, I'm so happy for this place to exist as well. Yeah, and you said also about building community through like events and like the same people showing up over time. Like, do you organize events yourself as well, or?
Not under the same name or with the same people, but I've done, things with Elevator Radio. I did something with a friend that was kind of a mini queer festival. That was a one-off so far.
Oh, cool.
And with my currently on hiatus collective, we've done a few like workshops, parties, but also beyond that, like hot pot nights, karaoke nights. But that is more, I want to tell a bit about the collective.
Yeah, of course.
Which is that it did start in Eindhoven. It started in this like very small community where, with a few like East Asian people, friends, where we felt like on the one hand, we were kind of sick of being like the only non-white person on the lineup when a party gets thrown. And we were also, kind of like on the sidelines, but also that we wanted to have an event or a space where we can center ourselves and also attract and draw other people that relate similarly. Build community like that, because Eindhoven is like my school is international, but it's still predominantly white, and Eindhoven as well. And so that was like something quite important to us personally, but also, beyond us, that we wanted other people to have the same, if they weren't originally like friends with us already. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so nice. How did you find each other?
At school.
At school, okay. Yeah, it's it's so nice that you create the space for other non-white people to like find a home in, because I really feel what you said about um, like I don't really know about Eindhoven, but Groningen as well is like very international, but also still predominantly white. And I'm still also looking for that space with more people of color and like yeah, where we can create that safe space and like
Yeah, I think it's quite important, and um, part of what I think is something I think is really important for like Asians specifically is that there's these stereotypes of like that we're quiet or like submissive, obedient, and like specifically anti-Asian racism is kind of one that's swept under the carpet and very quiet, and it just lines up neatly with certain East Asian cultures that are influenced by Confucianism and the ideals of maintaining social harmony over like self-expression and over at the expense of yourself or your suffering, like that social harmony is placed above all else. And I think especially as diaspora kids, this is something that still like influences, I think, the way we address things or don't address things like with our family. And I kind of want to like get rowdy with my Asian comrades, and as well as like go against the model minority myth, which is harmful to not just us as like a flattening stereotyping, but also harmful to like other marginalized communities that kind of invalidate their struggles to with this myth that, oh, this certain minority can make it, or it is also, I think, our responsibility as like, I don't know, my responsibility as like light skinned East Asian to go against this. Yeah. And for like down the line, there are intentions to start up Kazi Kazi again, my DJ collective, but also like maybe like find like-minded people and reorganize, and also go forward as less of a DJ collective, but more of a community building initiative that decenters ourselves as like several DJs, but our intention to create this space for more than just us.
Yeah. I don't think well, that was like a really great like piece of text, or not text, but like I don't think I could have said it better myself. And what you said about the model minority myth, it's also like it still comes from like very much a position of white supremacy and like pitting minorities against each other, whereas I feel like we should be supporting each other and like in unity say like, okay, let's abolish white supremacy and let's all strive for equality. And I really feel what you said about being painted as very quiet or submissive, and that influences the way like anti-Asian racism is perceived as well. Like I see this a lot in my parents' generation, and even more so in my grandparents' generation, because it also makes sense. Like they were so much more focused on just surviving here and assimilating, whereas people from my generation are like, fuck you, I'm not gonna take this anymore, and like you can't say stuff to that like that to me.
Fuck social harmony.
Yeah. So I'm very happy to hear you say all those things and like want to get rowdy with your with your friends. Like that's how I feel as well. But it took some time to learn it, like unlearn just internalizing like all the bullshit that gets thrown at me, and instead just spewing it back like, yeah, I don't have to take this anymore, so yeah, I'm very happy to find a like-minded person. Very nice. Yeah, I'm also like, okay, it was very nice, and I would love to like talk for hours and hours about this. But yeah, I'm also very curious about like your music and what you brought along today. Like, can you give us a little, yeah, how would you describe what you normally play and what you brought today? And like, is it the same or is it different?
I think normally I play like hot and heavy. Yeah, after I started DJing in Taiwan, a big chunk of my DJing was actually in Eindhoven because the nightlife is quite shit. So people get together like from our school and we throw raves out of necessity. There's no good clubs to go to, so we throw like great raves ourselves. So in this kind of environment, I feel like I developed my taste and way of playing as quite like unapologetic, like hard hitting, like doesn't have to be cohesive. So generally, I like playing across genres, mixing everything, like transforming genre to genre, like track to track. Hopefully not in a disruptive way, but like in a morphing, distorted transformation. And yeah, like one after another. But I played like this one time on radio, like when there was a cancellation, and I was like, okay, I'll hop on. And I played like this, and I was like, you know what? Like, I think I want to also explore on radio, like how to keep things exciting in more nuanced ways without going like one banger to the next to the next. So today, in line with like your theme of your radio show, have some more like wonky, wobbly, still a little bit cross genre, but with some breaks, leaning acid things. Also, I'm not very good at genres, but yeah, we'll see. It's not as a usual club set. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to hearing some stuff. And yeah, you also brought some tracks that you wanted to listen to and like talk a bit about, right?
Yeah, so like a few tracks to share before I play. Yeah, I was wondering like if you meant a few tracks from what I'm gonna play, but I prepared things that I'm not gonna play.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I thought like with this prompt to use this as a chance to platform to the few listeners, hopefully many. And yeah, I chose like a few tracks. Some are like suitable for clubs. Some are maybe just like things I like to listen to, but all by Asian artists.
Cool. Shall we have a listen to the first
representation?
Track then? Yeah. I kept thinking it was over, but then it wasn't over. But very nice track. I really like the vocals. And this is, I see it's in the Loca remix, but it's originally by an Asian artist, you said?
Yeah, the artist is Lura, I think it's pronounced. It's Lvra.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like a kind of alt pop artist who has released several things with Eastern Margins.
I love Eastern Margins.
And I saw Lura actually twice live, and it's like such an experience. It's like between a live set and a DJ set, like, but it's like super immersive, and yeah, it's like alt pop, but also like brings in a lot of like bass, techno, and yeah, like club music elements.
Yeah, so nice. Is that something you would also want to work towards, like a more live, like hybrid set maybe, or in the future?
I think that's really cool. I would love to. But I don't have any practical steps towards it yet.
Yeah, I always really enjoy when people incorporate like live elements as well. And a little while ago was in Brussels, and I saw a female techno artist called Carrie. And it was so cool. She played live for 2 hours, and it was like all like quite rough techno, which is normally not really what I listen to. But I was just so in awe, like watching her perform and like twiddling knobs and stuff. And I was like, oh yes, I love this. So yeah, I can imagine that this would be really cool to see live as well.
Yeah, super nice.
Cool. I also have a track. It's a bit different. It's like, it has some vocals as well, but it's more down tempo, I would say. So yeah, let's have a listen. Yes, so that was Discomfort Zone by Matteo. Matteo, I think it's pronounced. I found this record a little while back, and I was really interested by it because it's very dubby, but a lot of like dub techno I hear is very. It has this like chill vibe, like chilling in the sun on a Sunday or something like that. And this is quite dark, so that's why I liked it. And yeah, weird little sounds and stuff like that. And it's from 2015, so not too old yet. But yeah, very different to what I play and what I normally listen to, but that's how my record collection is anyways. Like, I buy a lot of vinyl that I could never play in a DJ set, but just sounds interesting to me. I sometimes feel a little bit like a hoarder, like, oh yes, this will come in handy someday. And now I actually have an excuse because I can play them here in the radio show. But yeah, that's the track I wanted to show. And you have another one as well?
Yeah, I just have a little folder with like, okay, I was gonna just talk about these few tracks and show these few tracks, but it's very different to what you're playing.
That's okay.
Yeah, should I stick to it?
Yeah,
okay.
That's what the show is. We
all
go
right,
all
okay.
over the place.
So this one is Sonia Calico, who's a Taiwanese DJ and producer. And she draws from like Mando pop, from Taiwanese soundtracks, from like traditional Taiwanese instruments. Or even sometimes to me it just feels like hints at this, but not necessarily like it's so obvious. And yeah, I could go into like talking about I don't know, as an Asian artist, like whether there's this pressure to like do things about your identity, but often that's like tokenized and exoticized. But I would hope there is like leeway for each artist to decide like what kind of style and what like whether it is at all linked or actively linked to talking about their identity or not, from like not actively mentioning it at all to like using it as a language and a medium for activism. Like there shouldn't be one way that we are represented, and that's also kind of my purpose of the tracks that I picked today.
Yeah, so that's a really good point. I was thinking about this a lot as well when I just started, because I've always been really drawn to musicians that use like elements of, or like hinting at their identity. But I was also wondering like how much should I make this a part of like my DJ persona? And at the moment I'm choosing to like explicitly state that I do incorporate this elements in my DJ sets as well. But yeah, it's kind of a journey, like finding out how much you want to make this a part of your musical choices as well. That's an interesting thing to think about. Especially as like someone of any marginalized identity that feels like you have to take on this responsibility that is larger than yourself. Yeah. But yeah, okay. Anyways, this is Sonia Calico, and it's called Neo Tokyo Folk. It's also with two other people. One is I Had a Dream. Oh, yeah. And someone I cannot see. So, yeah, two other people. But I think it's also interesting. You can hear like the kind of percussive sounds that come from I Had a Dream. And yeah. Cool. Okay, I speak too much. that one was fun. Yeah, it's actually Sonia Calico and Ahada Dream are like two of my favorite producers. And yeah, this track is no exception to my favorite lists. Um, yeah, really fun melodic progression as well, I think. It's not immediately like you think like, oh, this is like so stereotypically Asian, but yeah, it's like a good hint to it. I have a track that's again very different, but that's what we do. Um, it's by Ike, and it's called 7 and 17, the God 69 remix. And it was released on Index Records, which is one of my favorite labels, actually. I think they're based in Berlin, and they do mostly, yeah, how would I describe it? It's quite experimental at times, not always. This record is definitely more in the like electro spheres, but all their releases have this really like dreamy feel to them, which I really like. Even though sometimes it can be really fast or really hard hitting, like it always has this kind of dreamy element, which I really enjoy. And yeah, this track, the remix in particular stood out to me because the original mix is also really good. But this one, like the remix has a bit more like urgency while still being dreamy. So yeah, let's have a listen.
Yes.
All right.
Last one.
Yes.
This one is called Essence by Cassia Select.
That's another one of my favorites. So good.
Spotlighting favorites. What can I say about it? Yeah, I think he also has a moniker that he produces under that is not so club music, and I haven't listened that much to it. But yeah, this is I don't even know his real name. But anyways, Cassia Select. I think he was like born and raised in Toronto, and I saw this interview where he talks about like identity politics, how close he leans to it or away from it, and it was quite interesting. I don't want to summarize what he said is, yeah, and it was also quite a personal interview. Yeah, but I this goes along with like the kind of range of like making your music about identity or not, and I think it's nice to have a range represented. Like as an Asian person, you don't have to do it one way or the other. It's not just because you're Asian you have to like make everything Asian. Okay, anyways, Cassia Select, Essence.
Yes.
Les gens ils vont commencer à faire des choses qui nous ressemblent. On n'a rien inventé. On n'a rien inventé, mais on a une manière de danser qui nous est propre. C'est clair. Et quand les gens vont voir qu'ils font des trucs qui nous ressemblent, nous, on va juste faire ça. You're gonna see me come. You're gonna see me. You're gonna see me come. You're up at the. You're gonna see me come. You're gonna see me. You're gonna see me come. You're up at the.
A very nice last track, Essence by Cassius Select. Next up, we have a DJ set by Ever, which I'm looking forward to a lot. So yeah, for the next hour, sit back, relax, and have a listen to Ever's music.
One.